dear President Milic, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, congratulations for organizing such a prestigious business summit in Slovenia. It is a great honor that you invited me as a speaker. Unfortunately, I was not able to come, but I'm very pleased to address your business summit via video conference. My name is Marthe Schultz. I am an Austrian entrepreneur who is active in the tourism sector, skiing resorts, travel agencies and hotels. I'm also Deputy President of Eurochamber and Vice President of the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber. My statement today will focus on how Austria managed the economic crisis and how we will address the challenges ahead of us. I also will speak about the role of the Austrian Economic Chamber within the social partnership. Austria enjoys a particularly well-developed system of cooperation between the major economic interest groups. This system, the social partnership, is a voluntary arrangement but protected by our constitution. The cooperation of Austrian four large representative organizations, the Federal Economic Chamber, the Trade Union Federation, the Federal Chamber of Labor and the Chamber of Agriculture, include also collective agreements. On the employer side, these agreements are usually negotiated by the relevant professional organization of the Federal Economic Chamber and by the Trade Union Federation. But the social partners are involved in all areas of economic and social policy. Each law is examined by those organizations before it goes to the parliament. The institutional balance of interest is one of the reasons why Austria has practically no strikes. For this reason, Austria is considered an excellent example of cooperatism, which means we have a comprehensive and coordinated representation of group interests. As a matter of fact, our current Minister for Social Affairs was formerly President of the Trade Union Federation, and our current Minister for Economic Affairs, Family and Youth was formerly Deputy Secretary General of our Chamber. So you may say Austria has the social partnership also in the government. The economic crisis hit Europe in 2008-09. Especially the production sector broke down rapidly, but it also recovered relatively quickly afterwards. In general, countries with a low industry rate were much more affected. Let me give you one example in comparison with Slovenia and Austria, the Baltic states, with a small industrial base, were much more hit by the crisis. Austria has taken a wide range of actions in order to counter the economic crisis. Consolidation packages involving the income as well as the expenditure side have become necessary. This also included actions to save banks and a wide range of measures by the social partner concerning the labor market. Ladies and gentlemen, which factors helped Austria to get through the crisis better than other countries? Let me focus on two major points: labor market issues and the Austrian vocational training system. Austria has now the lowest unemployment rate in Europe. The Austrian social partners and the labor market policies have directed their efforts to keep employment stable. Thus, 2009 employment fell by only 1.4%, while GDP dropped by 3.9%. Let me give you some examples for measures taken in our country. Agreement on the short time work saved at least 4,000 jobs. Sabbaticals for further education increased from 1,300 cases in 2008 to 5,000 cases in 2009. Reductions of overtime hours by 41 million from 2008 to 2009. Employees went on holiday more often. Flexible working hour schemes at company level were used to reduce working hours. Both factors together represent about 23,000 jobs saved. The total working volume was also reduced by less full-time jobs and more part-time jobs. Most jobs were thus secured through internal flexibility. Layoffs were avoided, skilled staff remained in the companies. Only the number of leased workers declined rapidly. This would not have been possible without the social partners. Also, the collective bargaining agreement have secured the purchasing power and moderated the effects of the crisis. The increased minimum wages were all above the inflation rate. Even in the crisis of 2008-09, this mix has also contributed to the constant rise of employment, even though the economy since 2012 was hardly growing. Let us now take a closer look at youth unemployment and the vocational training system in Austria. In many European states, youth employment has risen dramatically in recent years. In Spain and Greece, unemployment is approaching the 60% marks. The EU average is close to 23%. Austrian's rate of youth employment is at 8.6%. Member states with well-developed vocational training structures, especially apprenticeship programs, are substantially less affected by youth employment than member states that depend primarily on general and higher education. In view of this situation, vocational education and training, and here especially dual vocational training, which means apprenticeship and similar forms of on-the-job training, are high and on the political agenda of many member states and of the European Commission. But what's special about the Austrian vocational training system? Austrian has a well-developed and diverse system at the upper secondary level. It consists of apprenticeship training on the one hand and full-time school-based vocational education and training on the other hand. Approximately 80% of young people of the same age are in vocational education and training program. There are about equal shares in apprenticeship training and full-time school training. Such a high proportion of vocational education and training places Austrian at the top of EU countries, besides Germany, Denmark and the Netherlands. In Austria, we have over 200 apprenticeship professions, diverse schools and disciplines in the full-time school-based education and training. The broad range of available training means that young people can more easily find opportunities that fit their interests than in many other educational systems. The Austrian rate of early school leavers is correspondingly lower and the graduation rates at upper secondary level higher, as compared to the rest of Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, let me sum up the success factors of the Austrian apprenticeship system. The dual apprenticeship system is an officially recognized and regulated part of Austria's education system. The ratio of the job training, the classroom time is approximately 80 to 20. An apprenticeship diploma can lead directly to further vocational training. It can even be a path to university studies. A major criterion for success is that the social partner have a strong influence on the content and scope of the training. Profession profiles are negotiated between the social partners. They are also the basis for the part-time vocational schools curricula. Regional economic chambers are responsible for the administration of the dual apprenticeship system, as well as the contact point for training companies. They offer a range of accompanying support services to the training companies and are responsible for the administration of financial support available to training companies. Workers' representatives are available as primary contact persons for the apprentices. The social partner, that means chamber and trade unions, are together with the two relevant ministers to co-owners of the dual apprenticeship system. This increases companies' willingness to hire and to train apprentices. 92% of the apprentices are trained in this scheme. A further element of the Austrian system is the training guarantee up to age 18, which is the scheme for the rest of the apprentice, 8%. Austrian wants to ensure that also those young people who do not succeed in finding either an apprentice position or a place in full-time school-based vocational education and training can receive formal vocational training. A training guarantee for all young people has been in place since 2008. This guarantee is implemented by the public employment services. They have installed a kind of supra-company apprenticeship training. When a pupil does not find an apprenticeship in a company, these young persons can still begin learning a profession through this supra-company. During the training, the public employment services will look for a regular apprenticeship in a company. It is, however, also possible that the person completes his or her entire apprenticeship term in a super company program. As of December 2012, there are approximately 9,000 students enrolled in the super company apprenticeship program. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me switch to the future and shortly mention the major challenges for Austria in the near future. After the elections in September, Austral will get a new government, hopefully in the next few weeks. We are in the middle of coalition building negotiations in Austria. There are big challenges for the next government. First, public expenditure has to be cut by billions of euros due to bank problems and lower tax income than expected. Second, early retirement and costs of our pension system. The employment rate of older workers in Austria is still well below the EU average. Altogether, 72% of all new pensions in 2010 were granted before the legal retirement age 65 was reached. This poses a heavy burden on those who continue to work. Additional pension costs will be very high from 2020 onwards when the baby boom generation retires. Third, the banking sector. Austrian banks face crisis-induced challenges. Capital positions of domestic banks have improved further in the past year. The exposure of the majority Austrian-owned domestic banks to Central, Eastern and Southeastern Europe is still comparatively high, but broadly diversified across the region. During the final crisis, many banks in Austria had to be supported by the state and 3 institutes were taken over. The most severe actual problem is that the debts of state-owned banks might have a heavy burden to the Austrian national debt. The creation of a bad bank is in discussion. Fourth, healthcare. Austria dedicates very long public resources to health and to share of total health spending in GDP is among the highest in the OECD. 16% of total general government spending is for health. However, maintaining the high level and quality of public health care will be a major challenge in the future, when a still higher share of older people increasing demand for health care services. Fifth, education system. Education and knowledge is one of the most important raw materials of the future, especially in our country, with a lower level of physical raw materials like Austrian investment in education, science, research, technology and innovation are absolutely crucial if Austria is to remain competitive in the future, and it is to remain prosperous and socially secure. Ladies and gentlemen, Austria was and is until now in a very good situation from the economic and also from the social point of view. But I'm a little bit worried about the reform unwillingness in our country. We have to speed up to keep our good position. Our chamber is ready to deliver not only good ideas but also practical implementation. I can see some similarities between Slovenia and Austria, and I do hope that those committed to the reform process will lead our countries. This will create economic growth and employment. Wishing you a lot of good ideas, project and fruitful discussion during your business summit. I would like to thank you for being able to share my views with you. Goodbye to Slovenia.